Hello and welcome. And I'm very, very glad you tuned us in today. And I hope you'll have time to just sit down and be with us for the next 30 minutes because Dr. Roger Rhoades is here with me. And Dr. Rhoades is a family therapist. And the thing about Dr. Rhoades, he makes things common sense so that those of us, if we need help, we can understand what he's trying to, the information he's trying to give to parents and young people and families. And he has helped many, many, many people. Welcome.
Oh, welcome, Peggy. Good to be here.
And today you chose to talk about parents and children.
Yes, I think we're at a critical time in our lives, Peggy. I think parents have moved the needle over to a desire in an unhealthy way to be children's friend. I want to be their friend. I don't want to be their parent. I want them to like me. I don't want them to respect me. And that dynamic is shifting, and it's making it hard for the rest of society because children, you know, it'd be one thing if they just stayed at home, but they go to school, they go to activities.
Sure.
And if they're not raised right, then they don't know any better, and they go somewhere else and they act out, and it causes problems for others. And for the child, he's just saying, well, this is my normal. This is what I'm used to. This is what I get away in my family. And people were saying, well, I get that's your family, but this is a different situation. And like in school, you're not the only one. There's 29 others of you here. And if everybody acted as if, you know, the world revolved around me, then it would be just total chaos. So it's important for parents to sit back and think of the word respect. What can I do to develop respect between me and my children? And in that way, they become what's a healthy version of a parent/friend. But one of the things is parents come up, Peggy, and they don't even ask their children, would you define friend for me so I know what friend means to you? Because sometimes the child does not have a healthy version of what a friend is. And so the parent just looks at it and says, I just want to make them happy. I just want to, you know, not be too harsh on them. And the fact is that what happens is in the household, there's no structure. And I want people that are viewing to understand me. A child without structure will not be emotionally well.
That's powerful.
It's very important, Peggy. It's
a child without structure will not be emotionally well.
Right.
Now, all right, now define structure.
Okay.
It means different things to different people.
Okay. It's important to have, and I love before Dobson died, he said, it's important for us to still eat together.
Okay.
Eating together is a structure. Going to bed, we've got a lot of grandkids, and their parents say, you know, 8, that's it. You know, and so they expect if we take care of them, now we want to keep them up, we're loving them.
Grandparents can spoil them a little bit.
Yeah, we want to spoil them, but the bottom line is they may like that, but the next day they don't behave well. They hadn't gotten enough rest, and it's come off their structure. So when they wake up, when they go to bed, when they eat, and it's important in the household to have what's called household rules. We, the Rhoadeses, this is what we do. I don't have to be in the military, but I have to have some rules.
There are certain things that are permitted within our family and some things that are no way.
Yes, and
children have to know that.
Yes, and we've got to fit in. You know, we've got our children believing they're the sun and all the other planets revolve around them. And that child is just impossible to be with. Nobody wants to be around them. Nobody wants to deal with them. And so they grow up and they're not nice people. And so it's important that a child can count on mom being a particular way, dad being a particular way, our family being a particular way, and this is the way we operate. You know, that there is a certain air of respect for your elders, respect for property, respect for pets. You know, it's just amazing how many young kids abuse pets.
Oh, that's horrible.
I know it's horrible to think about, Peggy, but it's just gotten worse. You know, if you want to go to the Humane Society and have them tell you, it's just tragic. But some kids, they don't know any better.
But I was told once that that's where abuse begins. When children are small, or, you know, they abuse an animal.
Yes, that is true.
And as they grow up and they become adults and have children of their own, or their wife or their husband, they become abusive, and it goes back to the very beginning when they were little.
Without a doubt. It's about, you know,
it's a pattern.
Yes, and it's a learned pattern. They didn't come out of the womb saying, I want to harm things. They just were operating, and all of a sudden they may have tugged at the leg of an animal, and nobody said anything. They looked around, nobody, you know, reprimanded them for that, so they just pulled a little harder. And some parents, in a desire to, I don't want to make waves, you know, you need to drive the car, you need to drink alcohol, you need to do drugs, you need to go off somewhere. This is the kind of thing that's going on out there.
You don't mean to tell me that parents actually encourage their children to do those things?
I don't want to say encourage. I think that parents look the other way to fit, for their child to like them. You know, and it's not about your child liking you, it's about your child respecting you. You know, that we, you know, I can remember in my family, I went home and I was just acting like I usually act and do it, and my mother stopped me as I got ready to go in the house. And I said, I must have been 40 at the time. She said, you can't come in the house. I said, why can't I come in the house? And she said, wait a minute, the rule of the house is we don't come in dirty. We clean off outside, and then, you know, if we got to change clothes, we'll do it in the garage. But you're not going to stomp this in the house. And I just wanted to say, wait a minute, I'm an adult. And she said, well, you may be an adult, but in our household, this is the rule.
Don't come in with your dirty shoes.
Oh, I was just, I'd been out playing with my friends, playing, you know, backyard football and rolling in the mud. I was like an old pig. I was having some fun. And I didn't think anything about it. And, you know, back where I lived and I was single, I'd just stomp on in and go to the laundry room and everything be fine. And then I'd get a sweeper and sweep up all the crud I'd left. And I didn't think anything about it. But I'd forgotten, in my mom's house, you didn't do that. That wasn't how I was raised. And even I can remember one of my friends say to me, and this just tore me up one time. He looked at me and he says, Roger, I know your mom and dad, and you were raised better than that. Oh, boy, you talk about shaming me. I went, oh, God. And it turned me around, and I said, okay, I am sorry. I'm sorry. You're right. I was raised better than that.
All right. Now, the thought came to me. You talk about, I was raised better than that. It takes time to raise children, to instill in them right behavior is time consuming.
Yes.
And that probably is one of the big problems today.
Well, and I think it's easy when you're trying to please your children to run out of time real quick. It's very time consuming to give in everywhere. It doesn't seem like it. Looks like, oh, everybody's happy. We're all getting along. It's all good here. No, down the road is really going to get you. What really is a time saver is structure. Is knowing I don't have to worry at this amount of time we're going to bed, at this time we're eating, and there is a structure to my life. And so I'm just not willy-nilly going left and right. But there are so many people who are now adults that are like a dog chasing its tail. It's just they've got, or like that old act on Ed Sullivan where the guy spun the plates that's what people are doing in their lives. They just keep putting up more plates. And eventually, the plate's going to fall. You know, but when you have structure, when you have something where we can count on this, then I don't have to think about it. I just show up. I know this is the way we can. And this is what throws people off. Emotionally, it's calming to children. When children can count on mom's going to be this way, dad's going to be this way, we're going to eat at this time, we're going to go to bed at this time, this is the way we do our clothes, this is the way we do our wash. You know, it used to be like Wednesday's wash day. How you hear that. And now kids just, they throw their clothes anywhere, like they have their own personal maid. And then you can see, Peggy, if all of a sudden I make my mother my personal maid because she wants me to like her, she's not going to have any time. Because now she's going to have to mother and she's going to have to maid too. And I've created work. But wait a minute, what if part of our family is everybody does their laundry? And you have a day. And we're going to show you how to do it. Well, wait a minute, I've taught you responsibility. I've taught you respect. I've given you a skill that's going to last the rest of your life. And I've been a vital part of the family. I've pitched in.
So you think it's very important for parents to delegate responsibility to children according to their age.
Exactly,
I mean, you don't
exactly.
expect a 4-year-old to do something that they're not capable of doing, but for each child to have some sort of responsibility.
Yes, and it's interesting how we will do that as it goes with like swimming. At this age, you're at this wade pool, and at this age, you go to this pool, and at this age, you wear swimmies, and we will graduate that and structure that, but we won't do that with chores. You know, when was the last time? That's a good one right there. Peggy, when was the last time you heard that word? Chores.
Well, you don't hear it very often.
Oh, not at all. No, you know, we hire people to do that. You know, that's somebody else's responsibility. And I tell people all the time, raise children so somebody can be married to them. You know, there's children that have been raised that nobody in the world could be married to them. They're unmarriageable. Not because they're not good looking, not because they don't dress well. They just don't know how to live with other people. They're not socialized well. And that's very sad to see. But I think it's happening all the time out there. You know, and boy, who doesn't love, someone, now I don't want my mother to come home with me, but what woman doesn't want a man who knows how to do the wash, who doesn't know how to sweep, who doesn't know how to cook? You know, you talk to women there, and it's hard enough to get men to show up, much less be involved. But if I'm involved, and I've seen this too, there's some people that are having children, and the man, when's the child coming? I don't know. What do you think about being? I don't know. I got to go down to the local bar and grill. That's what I'm doing. And it's like, wow. And somehow that child is going to be born, and now you're going to all of a sudden be a good father? No. You need to be a good husband first. And you need to be invested. And there's certain things you need to do along the way that reassures your wife, I'm a stand-up guy, I'll be there for you. Mm. And if there's other kids, if you don't think they're like kids are like sponges. They just sponge everything on and they just suck it all up. And don't think if they watch dad disrespect mom, at some point, guess what they're going to do with all
Same
the
thing. It's learned behavior.
Yes, it is, and it's learned bad behavior. We talk about learned behavior as if all the learned behavior is good, but there's a lot of learned bad behavior.
We've got to take a break. I think they're giving me signals, right? We'll be right back, so stay with us.